Hey guys, Nuzzly here, and today I am here with another subscriber special because we hit another milestone. So, I don't really know what else to say besides yet another just thank you, I guess. I'm not that great at thanking people, much less when it's something this big, but, you know, I'm very much appreciative of where I've got so far, and to commemorate that, I wanted to make a special for this milestone. I initially was thinking of just having like a roast session where you guys just make fun of me because I think that'd be quite funny, but a lot of you also wanted a Q&A, which I'm fine with. I just kind of wanted to differentiate it from the last one, but so we've got a Q&A and a ton of roasts here from my community tab. This was all put together thanks to my good friend Banana, who cites himself as chaotic, which I can attest to. Regardless, it's been split up into a Q&A and roast section, kind of thing. So I'll start with the Q&As first. So just jumping right into it. When and how did you get into power scaling? I got into power scaling I don't even know how many years ago was it. That makes me sound old actually. But literally, Venom vs. Nomi was the first YouTube video I made on power scaling, mostly because I was I was always interested in that kind of thing, and my friends just got really tired of me trying to talk about it. I'm not gonna lie, so I eventually just decided to research on my own and then just voice those opinions into YouTube, and since then it's all just kicked off from there. So yeah, it's always just kind of been an interest of mine. What series do I want to get into? Well, there's a lot. I've got a massive list of series to get into. I keep on putting off finishing One Piece, not because I don't like it, I just get burnt out easily when reading a lot. There's also Bleach as well, which I need to get into as well. There's just a ton of anime actually that I really just need to get into for power scaling reasons or just for my own entertainment. Yeah, literally, list off all of the top animes minus a couple that I've already seen, and those are the ones I want to get into. Is there a series that you want to power scale but can't? That is a fairly interesting question. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. There are definitely some series I'm better at power scaling at than others, but I don't know if there's to say that I physically cannot power scale them, ever. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question. Okara the Draconic Saiyan asks, opinion on Timeline 7. Okay. Which is the fairest Dragon Ball versus DC or Marvel matchup I can think of? Well, that is also a fairly tough question. Dragon Ball and DC and Marvel have both got scaling, which is a bit mental to say the least, mainly because no one can ever decide where they do scale. In terms of most fair, I'm not entirely sure, just because of the fact that you can scale them pretty much everywhere. My favorite Marvel, or rather my favorite Dragon Ball versus comics matchup are kind of boring, but I do really like the likes of Goku Black versus Reverse Flash, for example, Vegeta versus Thor. They're popular for a reason, I really do like them. There's Hulk versus Broly as well, which I also really like as a matchup. There are also Dragon Ball matchups against other comic characters, namely Archie-Sonic characters, which I also really like, mostly the Xenoverse counterparts as well, but in terms of the most fair, again, I'm not entirely too sure, to be honest. Maybe Xeno Goku Black versus Reverse Flash, just from the point of view the Xenoverse characters have a fuck ton of hacks, which balances it out a bit more, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure. Pain versus Kakazu. Okay, right, that was... okay, vegan. Okay, and on that topic, how did I meet Jobber Godot? Or I guess Jobber Godot. I never know how to pronounce that after playing Ace Attorney, I'm going to be honest. I met Jobber through the Tanjiro versus Jonathan situation. He got into my Discord server and we got in VC and talked about it. At first it was kind of funny because he never mentioned anything about debating. He was just kind of jump into VC, and I was like, okay. And he just came in and started talking while I was just kind of not paying attention, I'll be honest. But eventually we actually spoke about it a bit more. And after a while I DM'd him again, just talking about the subject. Yeah, I prefer not to make enemies when possible, but I'm quite happy that I met Jobber, I'll be honest. In the Versus community, there has been a subtle shift between since 2021 towards Death Battle, with more people accepting it and further discussion about how the show has become an actual analysis within the Versus community, with much less hatred and more indifference or enjoyment, even if people disagree with the outcomes. So with that in mind, how has that shift affected you, and have you seen that as a good or bad thing for the Versus community? Also, congrats for 2K, thank you very much. But yeah, I have noticed that as well. The general shift, I suppose, is when it's kind of went from the versus debating has been extremely objective point of view to being really subjective, and people have kind of woke up to realize that. So I mean, I think it's a really good change, because enjoying something which people have made, unless it's something that's like actively offensive, is like a good thing. I think it is a good thing. Although I will say that the community that's kind of built on that has also been a little bit toxic as well. That's just, I guess, because of the Versus community and how it is. But yeah, I mean, there's also good and bad things that come to it, but I think it's mostly a good thing. Mikey or Ao Koji, who have I got? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Mikey's that Tokyo Revengers character, right? I've got no idea. Is there any video that got me any backlash? Oh, tons. Tons of videos. The most obvious answer is Tanjo versus Jonathan. That resulted, though, in quite a lot of good things happening for me, so I'll take it. The first ever video I got that got backlash was my first ever Dio versus Alucard video from like 3 years ago. Before I really got, well, I mean, I don't know if I'm good at power scaling now, but before I was where I am now at power scaling. So I kind of understand that. My coming out video was the only one that actively made me lose subscribers, and I think it would be quite funny if I dropped below 2k again just because I mentioned that and people are now going to watch it. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Versus creator, you're just going to get backlash. It's just the way it is. People are always going to disagree with you. And here come the roasts now. Apparently it's just a break from the questions. Thank you, Banana. Your accent is so strong it could beat the shit out of Goku. And Bananas put underneath it, I guess this was meant to roast Goku as well. Yeah, honestly, I get that a lot. Like I work in a shop, right? And the amount of times people ask me like about my accent is a bit mental. Like, I come from the mainland of Scotland, but people think I'm from like the Highlands or the islands that are like off the coast of them, which is a bit crazy, but I mean, I guess I'll take it as a compliment. I have nothing of substance to add, I just like the content. That's not really a roast, but I appreciate the compliment. Imagine liking Chelsea. Couldn't be, wait a second, how did the time man say? Okay, this is going to be something that most of my audience don't know about. Football, or I guess if you're American, you're weird and you call it soccer. But yeah, I've supported Chelsea mostly because they were like the best team when I started getting into football. But I mean, we can kind of see where they are now. Anyways, more cross-examinations, as Banana calls it. This is a very entertaining PowerPoint slide, I'll be honest. What's an anime manga series I want to get into? I mean, the first one that comes off the top of my head, Bleach. Baki as well was another one. What other ones? Black Clover is one I think I need to get into as well. I mean, I also just generally need to finish some of that, like the man-made manga I've already started. Like, I've kind of fallen behind on Chainsaw Man in recent, in recent chapters, but I'll catch up. Why isn't Vegeta in his Super Saiyan Ginger form? Funny you ask that, right? I'm actually going to change my profile picture, either by the time this video comes out or just afterwards. I've had the same profile picture ever since I started power scaling. It's my second profile picture I've ever had on YouTube. And I think I'm going to change it because I didn't make it, so it doesn't really feel like mine. And the whole point of like my own like content on YouTube is the fact that I make it all myself, with the only exception of a couple of things that get edited. But yeah, I want to be able to say that it's my YouTube channel and I built it from the ground up, so I need to be able to show that even with my profile picture that I made it myself, you know what I mean? I think there'd be a day where I would power scale a slice of life series. Probably not, I'll be honest, but just because of the nature of how slice of life what the fuck did slice of life series are. I do have a fair amount of slice of life like series I do really like, but none of them really work for power scaling, so I'm not entirely sure how that would work. Was a character or series you want to use but can't think of a good matchup for? I remember a couple of years ago, I remember writing down a few characters that fall into that category, but since then I've found matchups for that I quite like. I remember there's Darkseid, who I guess has Thanos, but that's literally it, I think. I mean, unless someone can prove me wrong in the comment section. But honestly, I'm not entirely sure, I'll be honest. I mean, there's definitely characters I do want to use, but I can't think of a good matchup for, but none that really come to mind when put on the spot. I really should have wrote a script for this video, shouldn't I? Among the characters Pain and Nagato, Kabuto and Mahito, who do I think is the best for Shigaraki? Now, in terms of connections, I think Kabuto is the best for Shigaraki. I think all of them really work for Shigaraki, though. In terms of a fight and that kind of potential, I do prefer Pain, though. I think that would be really cool. And Mahito, good connections, like really good connections, but I'm not entirely sure it's the best for Shigaraki when it comes to fight potential, mostly because Shigaraki can't literally fucking see Mahito, so that would be quite fun. Dr. Eggman pissed on the moon, and his droplets fell into Earth. Would he be like raining yellow acid then? And if that were true, would we all disintegrate like water and bread? What the fuck, banana? And the last question on this list, okay. What do you think about the idea that everyone should get a second chance? Okay, and there's also a compliment at the end, which I really do appreciate. Thank you very much. But the idea of everyone getting a second chance is something I think about a lot. In concept, I definitely do like and support the idea of people getting second chances, providing that they are genuinely sorry for something that they've done and are willing to improve. But there are some things that are just like really hard to like get past. Like some people just do absolutely outlandish, crazy shit that is really hard to forgive. I do want to give them a second chance, but it's really hard to. And if they do get a second chance, I want them to be far away from me so I don't have to deal with it. But yeah, with that unusually deep question out of the way, that wraps up the Q&A. If your question or roast wasn't here, you don't get to blame me, you blame the person who made the PowerPoint. And yeah, channel moving forward then. I will be taking a break. I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to take a break because I've not exactly got a great upload schedule anymore. And it's got to the point where whenever I make a video, I post it immediately, which is probably not a bad thing, but like it means that as soon as I finish it, I feel as though I have to start the next one. But you know, I'm just not doing that. I'm gonna like wait a bit, work on content in the background, and then eventually post them when I've got quite a few videos ready, and I can post them one after the other. So it's just better for the YouTube algorithm, realistically. Besides that, I mean, I might make versus trailers or some other one-off content in between times. This doesn't necessarily mean that those are videos I will make in the future. Like, if I make a trailer for a matchup, it doesn't mean I'm going to make that video or that matchup a video in the future. But it's just for fun, and that is what my YouTube channel is at the end of the day. Well, it has got a lot of goals, like, for example, proving shit, mostly that you can go from making the most dog shit content to being half decent at it. It's also just for having fun, and if I'm being more stressed out than having fun, then I'm just going to stop. So I'm still going to work on videos in the background. I'll still get tons of videos I want to make. I'll throw up a couple thumbnails on the screen of videos I'm working on right now, but they will be out for a little while. And again, besides like maybe a couple of exceptions, I probably won't be uploading that much for like the next month or so. So bear with me with that. I'll eventually get back to uploading as usual, and if not more than usual, which I think is why the break's important. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you all once again for 2,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it, and every single one of you are absolutely fantastic. I'm really bad at making compliments off the top of my head, aren't I? And yeah, I'll see you all next time.